Yes, it is started.
Yes, yes,
Recording
recording
is.
has started.
Hmm.
Yes, it is started.
Okay, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kinjal Toshniwal from SE Com 2. It is my privilege to welcome everyone to the workshop on MATLAB and Simulink and its application in engineering research conducted by the Computer Engineering Department of our college for second year students under Innovation Activity MESCO IIC. Today, we have with us Mr. Milind Khanderao. Mr. Khanderao is presently working as an application engineer with Design Tech System Private Limited, Pune. Mr. Khanderao is skilled in technical work, programming, presentation, demonstration, and Active Directory. Mr. Khanderao has 2 years of experience as a software tester at Twistra Industries Private Limited, Aurangabad. Mr. Khanderao has also published two international journals based on image processing using MATLAB. Mr. Khanderao completed Master of Technology (M.Tech) in Electronics Engineering from Walchand College of Engineering, Sangli in 2019 and Bachelors of Engineering (BE) in Electronics Engineering from PES College of Engineering, Aurangabad in 2015. Mr. Khanderao is an active member of We Volunteer Foundation, which handles roadside accidents, Ecoface, an environmental organization, and Kinkara Foundation, a NGO working in the field of health, education, child and women empowerment, and rural development. Without further ado, let's hear from Mr. Khanderao himself. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much for the brief introduction. Well, so shall I start, sir?
Yes, sure, sir. You can
Okay, let
start, sir.
okay, let me share my screen. Okay, is it visible? Yeah, anyone can respond?
Yes, sir, visible.
Yes, sir,
Yes,
it's
yes.
visible, sir.
Just a minute. Okay, okay, slide is visible.
Yes, sir, yes.
Okay, sure.
Yes, sir.
So, without wasting time, let's start with the today's session. Getting started with MATLAB and Simulink and its application in engineering research. Okay, so as you know, this is Milind Khanderao. I'm the application engineer for MathWorks product at Design Tech System Private Limited, Pune. So basically, this is the MathWorks product family. Okay, so MATLAB, let's say it is the language of technical computing. Okay, so MATLAB, the word come from Matrix Laboratories. Okay, MATLAB, and here you have to write the script, you have to write the program, MATLAB program. Okay, so it has some applications like control system, signal processing and communication, MS processing and computer vision, test and measurement, let's say computational finance, computational biology, etc. Well, the Simulink is a block based environment. Okay, as you do programming in MATLAB, so in Simulink you have to just drag and drop the blocks, give the block parameter and connect it and just define your system. You can prepare your system, you can make your system. Okay, so using Simulink you can go for the event-based modeling, let's say model-based design, physical modeling, real-time simulation and testing. Okay, verification, validation and testing of your system, then simulation graphics and reporting. So we'll see both the thing, MATLAB as well as Simulink and its application. So basically, what is MATLAB? It is a let's say it is a programming platform. It is a programming and numeric computing environment used by millions of engineers and scientists to analyze the data, develop the algorithms, and create models. Well, MATLAB provides professionally developed toolboxes, let's say for signal processing, image processing, control system, wireless communication, and etc. So nowadays, deep learning and AI and many more things. Okay, so the heart of the MATLAB is the high-level programming language that lets engineer and scientists express matrix and array mathematics directly. Well, MATLAB combine a desktop environment tuned for iterative analysis and design process with high-level programming language that expresses matrix and array mathematics directly. So we'll see the editor and live editor. So using this kind of script. Okay, so it is one of the live script in front of you. Let me switch to MATLAB. Okay, so this is the MATLAB environment. We have the latest release with us R2020B. Okay, so we have the apps. As I told you, many apps up under, let's say, under signal processing, communication, these kinds of app. Then machine learning and deep learning, you have this kind of applications, apps. Math statistic and optimization, control system design and analysis, image processing and computer vision, and many more things. Okay, so this is the, let's say if you want to create a script, you can go to home tab, you can just click to new script. Okay, so you can do your programming here. So it is a normal script. Okay, and as compared to live script, so live script, let's say it have interactive environment. Okay, so here you can give your title. Okay, you can give your title. Okay, then let's say information of your code. Okay, info of code, and you can insert your code. Okay, so we'll get output below this. You can see interactively. We have the live script example with us. Later on we will see. So this is the basic script and live script. Okay, so you can create script that let's say that only capture your code. Okay, so you no need to tell you the story behind your code. So it is automated. Contextual hints keep you moving quickly as you program, and you will see the output, that is result and visualization displayed together with your code. So we have that example, we will see later on. So as I told you, this is the MATLAB desktop. This is the current directory or current path. The editor or debugger, here we do write the program. Okay, the command window and the workspace browser. Okay, so MATLAB, let's say current path, command window, the editor, and workspace. Okay, even I can pass the values from here also. Okay, so here you can write number of lines of code. Okay, let's say 10 line, 100 line. Okay, as you program. And in command window, you can only execute single command at a time. Okay, so it is recommended to use script for your programming. So let's say one of the MATLAB interactive development environment. Okay, so here is the program. The command window passes your command. Okay, and the workspace browser. So whatever command you executed in let's say in this script, okay, that is also you can see through command window. So same, you can pass your commands through script also or through command window also, and that values the variables that goes to workspace. So data analysis, let's say if you have the data, so it might be in any form, let's say text file, image file, signal file, any kind of data you have. So most of the data that is most of the format data that is supported by MATLAB. So suppose if you have data and you want to prepare it for analysis, so we can use the new tools and function that inbuilt in MATLAB for importing, cleaning, filtering. Let's say category, you can just do the form the category of it, let's say the grouping of your data, and you can start analyzing it more quickly. We'll see how to do it. Then the performance. Okay, so MATLAB runs your code almost twice as fast as you did earlier. Okay, let's say you wrote a code in earlier version, let's say 2015, and you are going to rerun that program in the latest version of MATLAB, that is R2020B. So it will be run more than twice. Okay, not twice, more than twice. Then the graphics. The MATLAB graphics system makes creating and customizing plots easy and new default colors, different fonts and style, so that you can interpret your data easily. Okay. So some of the plots, let's say geo bubble, word cloud, heat map, polar plot. One example is here. Okay. So here is one example, longitude versus latitude, you can see here. Okay, and the attributes of it, let's say the earthquake and landslide and etc. Well, I'm getting some kind of noise. Can you mute the rest participant? So here is one map in front of you. It is one kind of plot. So hardware support. So MATLAB can control many hardwares. Let's say it can control popular microcontroller like Arduino, Raspberry Pi. Well, it can acquire the images from webcams. Okay, it can even collect the data from sensor that inbuilt in your smartphone. Then let's say the some hardware, let's say Arduino, RPi, USB webcams. You can use iPhone, iPad, and Android devices too. For IoT purpose, you can use ThinkSpeak IoT. Then let's say the app designer. Okay, so it is not like you should have the professional knowledge to develop such kind of apps. Okay, you don't need such kind of prerequisite to develop any app. Okay, you can just drag and drop the visual components and create your design of app. Okay, so using MATLAB you can create your own app. So let's move to technical computing workflow. Okay, suppose if your data, okay, let's say it is stored in a device or any let's say floppy or disk. Okay, nowadays floppies is outdated. In disk, let's say CD or DVD, or let's say hardware, the data is coming from your sensor or any hardware. So you have that data, you can do the data analysis of, you can do the data analysis and modeling of it. You can develop the algorithm, you can develop the application, you can deploy it also. Okay, and you can, once you develop your system, you can share this in different format. Let's say for reporting and documentation purpose, you can use Word, PDF, etc. You can output your design like this, then you can deploy it in different environment, let's say .NET, .exe, etc. Well, let's move to the programming script. Okay, so first, which is the basic script programming. Second one, the program that accept input and return the output, and the live editor program files with embedded output and formatted text. So you can do the programming using MATLAB editor. You can execute the script. You can revisit that MATLAB program. Okay, so one of the script in front of you, just for the example. Then the basics, the data and variables. So just go for one example. Let's say class, size, and value. So let's consider a n-dimensional array. So it might be like a boolean, numeric, text, then function have handle, then heterogeneous container. Okay, so boolean stand for logical, then numeric, it have the floating point or integer. So floating point might be single precision or double precision. Integer have the range signed and in between signed and unsigned, let's say 8-bit to 64-bit. Okay, then the heterogeneous container, it might be a structure based or cell based. So structure based means name based and index based means cells. So an example is here, you can see the name, value, size, and class. So MATLAB variables and expression. Okay, so MATLAB supports this kind of elementary function, let's say sine d, sine, hyperbolic sine, and also cos. Then the arithmetic operators like addition, multiplication, subtraction, power, dot operator. Okay, you can, dot operator stand for the element wise operation. Okay, let's move to an example, cell structure and table. So well, a structure array is a data type that groups related to data using a data container called fields. So you can see the one example. Okay, so a cell array is a data type with index data container called cells, where each cells contain any type of data. So it might be text, it might be array, or it might be some integer value. So let's move to example of MATLAB. So it is one of the live script. Okay, so before moving to live script, let me use some few example before. Okay, so very few things. Let's say I want to do some addition. Okay, so that goes to workspace with default variable answer 110. Suppose I declare some variable name, let's say sum, which is equals to 45 divided by 85. Okay, now it have some name, specific name, variable name, and the respective values. Okay, so through command window also you can execute the code, but you have to go line by line. But it is not recommended to use command window for, let's say, multiple line program. Let's say for 10 lines, that is fine, but when you write 100 lines of programming, and if you want to do any kind of modification, so it will be some let's say the hectic thing for you. Okay, so let's move to the example cell versus structure and array. Okay, before some example I will execute here. Okay, I will create new script. I will save this script, let's say with the name of addition. Okay, so I am going to just pass some values. Okay, you can terminate the line by semicolon. X which is equals to 78, which is equals to 45, and I want to do the sum, or let's say addition, which is equals to x plus y. Okay, I will save this. It have the extension dot m for MATLAB script. It have the extension dot m. Okay, MATLAB file have the extension dot m. MATLAB new script have the extension dot mlx. So let's execute this. Okay, so it went to the workspace. The addition result, x and y variable with its respective values. Okay, you can see through command window also. So we'll move to the cell versus structure arrays. Okay, let's say you have one example. It's one of the patient example. Okay, so it have the billing that is in integer. I will tell you what is that exactly. And he performs some test. It is saved in one array. So let's say we'll see the patient, its name, the size, and it occupied 600 of bytes, and the class which is structure. Okay, let's go for another example. Okay, same. Now you will see the patient size which is 1 by 2. Okay, we added to the first name which is John, second which is Anne, and the it occupied bytes 1008, class which is structure. Okay, now you have the data in your, let me show you workspace. Okay, you can see the fields, the name, the billing. Okay, now let's say we can create the bar graph through this data what we have. Okay, so we had a simple data with us with one patient name, and it's the bar graph of it. Okay, how to create plots I will tell you when we go to the plot section, and similarly the second patient. Okay, suppose well, this is the live script, so as I told you, you can execute the things with the your iterative results. Okay, So the title of your script, the information, the code, okay, and its output. Okay, well, let's go to the cell array. This was a structure array. Now we'll go for the cell array. So the cell array that contain data in cells, okay, that you access by numeric indexing. So the structure array that contain data in fields that you access by name. Okay, so here is the one data. Let's say some temperature data of 3 different cities over the time in a cell array. So this data we already executed this command. It went to workspace. Okay, now as we plotted one data of 2 patient. Now this is the data for temperature, and we plotted through that data the temperature trends for different locations. Okay, now we'll see whose command for this. See the information of particular whatever the variables and the values in your workspace. Okay, so some have the double class, some have the format, let's say date time, then double, structure, and cell. So this is the difference between cell and structure. Okay, we haven't started anything up till yet, just we go on through some examples. Okay, so as many entry you can form the table of it. Okay, so it is array to table. Now we'll go to the data import and export and data conversion. So we have one option, let's say data import. Through data you can import your data to MATLAB. So we can create the different. Okay, let me show you on MATLAB. So here is the option data import. So here you can import the data, and MATLAB supports, let's say many types of most of the data formats. Let's say any audio file, image file, then let's say the image JPG, then data file .mat, image file PNG, then let's say the Excel sheet, spreadsheet, XLS, ODS, then image file TIF, text file, video file. So this kind of data supported by MATLAB. So let's import one Excel file. Okay, so it is .csv, that is comma separated value file. Okay, so I will import this. So when you see, when we import that data, it is look like this. Okay, so you can use delimiter like comma, tabs, space. Okay, you can use this kind of separate delimiters, or a space, semicolon, etc. You can define range, you can just select the variable names. Okay, and you can take the data output type, let's say in table format, column vector, numeric matrix, string array, or cell array. So let's say I want to go for this specific data. Okay, what I will do, I will just choose few rows and column. Okay, so suppose this all fields, you can see here some data is missing, so it is just labeled as, or let's say title as NN, not a number. So you can replace cell with blank cells with not NN or any value. Let's say I want to give 1, blanks with 1. Okay, now the values whatever we choose, that goes to 1. Okay, now you can import data, you can generate the live script through this data, you can generate the script or any function. So let's import this data to workspace. Okay, now it is imported to workspace. You can see here. Okay, so this data. Now what I want to plot the data. So different plots which is supported by MATLAB. Let's say, so we can see different plots, whatever data you have. So this kind of plot you can see here. Okay, just your data, and you have this kind of visualizations. Then you can create the histogram of that particular data. Okay, you can create histogram of your images also. Any data, any kind of data, you can use histogram function. Then this many plots, let's say simple line plot, stream plot, this kind of plot which is supported by the respective data. Okay, now we will go for this. So we have let's say polar plot. You can create this kind of polar plot through this data. So in this manner you can do the, let's say, analysis of your data. So I imported one Excel file and I just did the analysis of it. Okay, so for example, we are not consider any complex example up till it. So suppose if you want to import, suppose here is one file, let's say sample. Okay, so what I will do, I will create one name here, sample. Okay, and what I will insert here, some numbers. Okay, and I will import that particular file from desktop. The name was sample. Okay, okay, so that number, whatever number, that come to import section. Okay, you can just import data. You can see one table of it. Okay, 5 by 1 table. Okay, so you can do plot of your data similar manner. You can refer this data for your programming also. So even you can import image file. Let's say I have some okay, so let's see. Okay, so it is already here. It is in the form of, let's say, matrix. Okay, so I just imported one image here. Okay, so now let's move. So many kind of data that is imported by MATLAB. So data types, as I told you, the MATLAB support following data types: unsigned integer, signed integer. Okay, that is 8 bit to 60 32 bit, 64 bit. Okay, then the double precision floating point number, single precision floating point number, character, then logical value. Let's say 0, logical have value have the state 0 or 1, true or false, etc. Also it have the respective range. Okay, we will see some arithmetic operators and the order of the operation. So simply you studied maths class in the Bodomas rule. Okay, so it is similar to that. You need to complete all the calculation inside parenthesis or the bracket using precedent rules, that is power go left right, multiplication division that go left right, and let's say addition and subtraction that is also go left to right. Some of the example, so let's go. We already perform some arithmetic operation here. Okay, if you want to do let's say z, which is equals to x to the power 2 plus y plus 55. Okay, so I will refer previous values. I will just run this code. Okay, so z also have this kind of result. Now we will focus on order of the equation. Okay, so we have one example with us. Okay, and the example which is 2 plus 3 divided by 4 into 5. Suppose if you are using bracket and you just change the order of your equation, so the answer definitely which is going to change. Let's say what is the default equation? 3 plus 2 plus 3 divided by 4 into 5. Okay, it have the answer 5.7500. Now what I will do, I will just use bracket here. Okay, same value. If I change the order of this equation by simply using and the variable I will assign as a y. Okay, so it have the different value 2.15. So we need to keep in mind that the order of the equation should be in particular format. If you just change the rule, so it will reflect your programming or your results. Okay, so numbers and formats. So this kind of, let's say, integer, real, complex, then infinity and not a number, which is recognized by the MATLAB. And the format, let's say different kind of format. How, what is that exactly, we will see. So let's say x, which is equals to 4 plus j. Okay, now I will tell you what kind of data is this. You can see this is a complex number. Okay, let's say y, which is equals to 85. Okay, so it's a integer number. Okay, real data means integer. Okay, let's say 1 divided by 0, it is considered as a infinity. 0 divided by 0, which is not a number. Okay, so 0 divided by 0, which is not a number, and n stand for not a numbers. Okay, so before moving to the next, can anyone tell me the value of pi? Just you can use your let's say, is there any chat window available?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just
Participant, you got it?
no, I haven't got it, but just tell me,
Participant, uh,
just anyone can just pass the value of pi in comment box. The pi value which is already inbuilt in MATLAB, no issue. So I will directly execute that example. Okay, so the pi value which is 3.14. Okay, is it correct? The correct value of pi I will tell you. Okay, so now I will show you the different formats. Let's say format bank. You can see the value of pi 3.14. Only 2 digits are considered. So simply let's say some numerical examples to solving that, we refer this kind of value of pi 3.14, or let's say 3.1416. Okay, but those are researcher, they refer the value of pi which is this 3.1415 up to 933. So this is the big value. Let's say 3.1415926535897993. This is the big value which is referred by scientist or the researcher. Okay, so this value which is already inbuilt in MATLAB. So what I want, I will just change the format to bank or format short. Okay. Okay, so you can control the format through format command. So what is that? Format short, format long, and format bang. So up to 2 decimal you can use bang, up to 4 decimal places you can use short, or rest you can use long. So some variables. So the result of the first calculation which is labeled by answer, by default it is MATLAB. So by default, let's say if I haven't assigned any, that goes to answer variable. Okay, let's say, okay, so same example I will consider. Okay, so it have the default label which is answer. Now oh, just 1 minute. Well, I'm getting some kind of noise. Please mute the rest participants. Okay, now fine. So as I told you in the first example, here I haven't assigned any variable name. So it went to the answer. Okay, now I just used some variable. It is labeled as a sum. So that result goes to some variable name. Okay, you can see in a workspace, sum and answer. Okay, so how to assign a variable name? Let's move. Okay, so legal names of variable consist of any combination of letters and digits. So it should start with the letter. Okay, so let's say left to play, x3, okay, etc. And let's see, it is the special character is which is not allowed as a variable name. Special character, let's say the hyphen, the percent sign, at the rate sign. Okay, and it should start with the letter, not with the number. So this is not allowed. So similarly, you can give the variable names. Well, so under let's say I and j, which is which hold a value of under root of -1, that is in complex number. So if you are not using any arithmetic operations, so you can just use this I and j, but it is recommended not to use if you are doing some complex programming. Okay, so as I told you, okay, x which is equals to 2 plus I. Okay, so I which is already hold that value, particular value, j also hold that particular value. Now the exercises, so I will not go for these exercises. So it is just some arithmetic operations. Now let's move to the built-in function of MATLAB. Okay, so it have the trigonometric function and elementary function. Let's say trigonometric, that is sine, cos and tan, and elementary function, let's say square root, exponential, logarithmic, okay, and the inverse function which is log. So exponential denote the exponential function of, let's say, exponential of x, that is e raised to x. So we will see. Okay, let's say if you want to define some range, any variable you can take, a which is equals to 1 is to, let's say, 15. So it have the 15 element. Okay, 1 is to 15. Okay, so same range I can define. Okay, so b which is equals to, in bracket, 1 is to 20. Okay, so 20 element you can see 1 by 20. Okay, so b which is 1 by 20. Okay, what I want, let me clear all the things. So I will define some range of x. Okay, so what I want, the range of x in 1 to 10. Okay, so it have the 10 elements up to 1 to 10. Suppose if you want the step size of 0.5. Okay, so step size, that is basically the difference in between elements. So you can see now that goes to 20 values. Okay, 19. Okay, so 1 to 90, difference is by 0.5. Okay, so 1 1.5, 2 2.5, 3 3.5. So I just defined one range of that particular with step size of 0.5. Okay, now what I want sin x. So you can see the sin x values. Okay, so here is the sin x. Okay, let's say the first value of sin 1, which have the value, which hold the value 0.8415. Okay, now what I want, let's say, let us plot this data x comma sin x. Let's see. Okay, just one data is here, just plot it. So what is the use of this plot? Later on you will see. We are just moving with the script. Okay, so I am familiar with the command window, that is why I used command window many times. Okay, so trigonometric function, that is sine, cos and tan, we saw, and it is in radians. Okay, suppose if you want to see, okay, so sine, let's say, tan, and sine d, now I will pass the value 10. Okay, so it is in radians and it is in degrees. Okay, now we will move to the vectors. So there are two types of vector, row vector and column vector. So simple rule to define row vector, just use the element separation by comma or space. Okay, and whatever the entries, the number of entries, that is termed as length of that particular vector. Okay, and entries are often referred as element or component, and the entries must be enclosed in square bracket. So as I told you, row vector, to define it we will use commas or space. For column vector we will use new line or semicolon. Okay, and for transpose the transposing, we will use this mark. Okay, so what is this? You'll see x, which is equals to square bracket element which is separated by spaces and comma. Okay, now it is one of the row vector with 6 elements. Okay, if you want to create column vector, so just give semicolon. Okay, semicolon, column vector. Okay, so it is with the order. Okay, you can see 1 by 6, which is x. Okay, 1. Okay, and the second one, which is, you can see the row and column. Okay, so it is the column, so 6 column, 1 row. Okay, you can see 6 by 1, 6 by 1. Now we'll go for the 3 by 3. Let's say x, which is equals to simple rule. So the first row I will separate by space. Okay, now I will use semicolon. Second row, now third row, just use the spaces. Okay, 3 by 3 order, first row, second row, third row. Okay, and this is the column, respective column. Oh, now what I want, I will create new vector and it have the elements which is the x transposing. Okay, I just use this mark to transpose. Okay, just single quote. Okay, so now you can see 1 2 3, and here is the column 1 2 3. What are rows that go that converted to columns, and columns converted to rows. Okay, so what I will do, I will consider u as a x and v as a y. So we have u, we have v. I will do u into v operations. U into v. Okay, so multiplication of two matrix. Now u divided by v. Okay, then u minus v, u plus v. Okay, so many operation you can perform. So what I will do, just I will consider one example. So one live script we have matrices and array. So array creation, this is a particularly a row vector. Okay, now the matrix array operations. So it is the special matrix arrays, zeros. Let's say z, which is equals to zeros, that is inbuilt. Okay, and order what I want 5, or let's say I want order 2 by 3. Let's say 2 comma 3. Okay, so MATLAB shows where the things went wrong. It will tell you the something is missing. Okay, now you can see the zeros matrix with 2 by 3 order. Okay, now what I want, ones. Okay, then let's say I matrix. Okay, so what is that particular e, which is equals to I, and I will use 5. So this is particularly the I matrix. Then diagonal matrix. Okay, few special matrix cases. Okay, you can see here. Then random matrix. Okay, so R which is equals to anything, any variable you can take random, it will pick the random values. Okay, 4 by 4. So we'll take a glance over this. Okay, so it is interactive. Okay, so here is the information, the title, the information array creation, the code, and here is the output of your code. Okay, so you have the 4 elements. You can see the 4 elements. It is the row vector. Okay, so one of the 3 by 3 order you can see here, zeros, then matrix operation, simply one a matrix which is defined here and added 10 to its every value. Then sign a. Okay, so you can just go for sign a also, transpose of matrix. Okay, you can just perform many operations. Then you can just change the format short, format long, concatenation. Okay, the thing which is remain concatenation. I will show you what is that. Okay, so this things is very fine, complex number, square root of -1, etc. So let's go to the concatenation. Suppose if you define any vector, let's say x, which is equals to, it have the some values. Okay, and what I want, y, which is equals to, let's say I will just transpose it. Okay, for different, we should have different elements. Okay, so what we are right now, y, x have this 3 by 3 order, this contents, and y have this different order. Now what I want, z, which is equals to, okay, so let me show you the format of concatenation. X semicolon y. Now we'll see the concatenation operation. Then y comma, so sorry, semicolon x. You can see we concatenated this. Okay, so we just went to the vectors and arrays. Now we'll see the different types of plots. So MATLAB supports many plots. Let's say line plots, stream plots, and stair plots, MATLAB bar plots, then MATLAB scale plots, graphics, MATLAB graphics plots, pie chart, and etc. Many plots which is supported by MATLAB. So you can interpret your data. Okay, we will see one example. Yeah, Avchar sir, tell me when to take a break. Okay, after this uh, 2D and 3D plot section, I will take a break. It's fine, 5 minutes or 10 minutes of break. I'm not I'm not able to hear your voice properly.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
एक मिनट sir. Sir, what we will do, we'll take. Uh, so, sir, 1 hour is completed, sir. So we can.
Okay, I will just complete this section and then I will take a 10 minutes break. Okay.
Okay, sure, sir. No issues.
Okay. So we were at the 2D and 3D plots. So very interesting part of this MATLAB. Okay, so we'll see some few plots and then how to create a plot. So we'll go with the 2D plots. Okay, so simply we will see one line plot. Okay, so as I know how to define the range. Okay, so one range which is defined here, 0 to 2 pi. the range for this 0 to 2 pi, and it have this step size pi by 100. Okay, so similarly for the y we define sine, and the elements of x we inserted here, and we will see the plot of it. Simple plot. Okay, if I want to add grid to it, I can use grid. Okay, so grid line you can see here. Okay, you can label your this with, okay, let me hold on, means just hold that particular graph. Okay, let me see. I just closed. So hold on is for the holding that particular plot. Okay, we just holded this. Now what I want to do the labeling, x label and y label and the title. So you can just write x label in bracket, give the label name. Similarly for y label, and you can give the title of to your, let's say, plot. Okay, now you can see the x label, the y label, and the title. Okay, so initially you can use the different, let's say, different color. Here the R stand for the red color, and I want the discontinued discontinued line, not the solid line. Okay, so let us see. Okay, same plot with discontinued line. Okay, so what I will do, I will just plot one line plot. Okay, I will hold it. Okay, now what I want to do, I want to do a, okay, you can see here is only one plot. Okay, and I want to add one more plot to it, so I will just hold that plot and I will add another plot to it. Now you can see the two plots, the first plot and second plot. You can see the first plot which is the sine wave, and the second plot which is for the cos. Okay, hold off means just leave the axis, just hold it. You can see empty, hold it and hold off. Now I will see some 3D plots. Okay, so one three-dimensional mesh grid plot which is here. Now we will create the surface plot of it. So you can see this is one of the surface plot, 3D plot. Okay, if you want to just point some peak, let's say I want to see the dimension of this peak. Okay, x, y, and z. You can see the location of this particular point or any downward point. Okay, you can mark anywhere. This is a particular 3D plot. Okay, I have some interesting example for you. Okay, let's say if you plotted many plots and you want to just create in one figure window, so we can use subplots. Okay, so subplot. So in one, let's say one figure, you can see four plots. This is also 3D. This is 3D plots. So last example I will take of this plot. Okay, so just we summarize the thing what we did. Okay, so how to create a script? I will just use new script here. Okay, and what I want, okay, I just okay, so time saving purpose, what I did, I just wrote it to text. Okay, so what I want, so this is particularly a text. Okay, heading, and this is information, and this is the particular. Now this is also a heading. So just creating live script. Okay, so first plot, which is just a modeling of mathematical equations. Let me save the script. It have the live script have the extension, let's say MLX. So I will say mod 04. Okay, now this is the live script, the title, the information. Okay, so we'll just plot a circle with center point 4 comma 3. So just we define the radius, which is 2. Okay, and the theta will use line space for the linearly separated elements, and we will just plot this. So initially we'll see one circle. Okay, 4 comma 3, you can see 4 comma 3. Now what I want to just add this information. So x-axis, y-axis, x label, y label, and the title of this plot. How we did it? How we did? Just with x label and y label and the title. Okay, and axis which is equal. So one more time I will do is, okay, plot of circle 4 comma 3. Okay, now we will see some interesting 3D helix plot. So plot a 3D helix. So we can define this value. So t as valued between 0 to 10 pi with step size pi by 50, and we can define ct as a vector of sine and cosine values. So let's see the helix plot. Okay, very interesting plot we do have. We can create. Okay, so particularly this is one helix plot. Okay, you can see the helix, top view, bottom view, side view. Okay, you can see here. Now the last one, which is the, let's say, surface mesh and mesh plot. So we will see. We cannot avoid some kind of noise. Okay. Okay, so one 3D surface plot you can see here. Okay, if you want to create the mesh plot of that particular, okay, so similar mesh plot of it. Now the contour plot of it. Okay, just we consider the contour of it. Okay, and the final, which is the mesh grid. Okay, so let's consider this mesh grid example. A mesh grid example. Okay, you can see here how we created the top view, side view. You can mark particular point. Let's say this is the 0 0 and 1, x0, y0, and z, which is 1. You can mark this point also, x, y, z. So one mesh grid example is with you. Okay, now we'll take let's say 10-minute break, and we will continue. So we just here different types of plots, 2D and 3D plots. After 10 minutes of break, we will go for the plotting. Okay, so we just completed this. We will go for the product division and powers of vectors. So it's 10 310. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so okay, so I will come, I will be here, but within 10 minutes I will resume.
Okay, sir, sure. Mane ma'am. Hello, Mane ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Oh, ma'am, stop the recording. So we'll start again recording, new recording.
Okay.